Neil Peart was the famed drummer of the Canadian rock band Rush. Considered one of the most skilled percussionists of his era, Modern Drummer magazine had already recognized him as the best rock drummer 7 years in a row. After 30 years of playing, 20 with the band, Neil found himself between studio albums in the mid-1990s. At the time, he had accomplished a level of fame that few drummers would ever match. But Neil wasn't satisfied. He felt like he'd mastered his own style as well as he could, but where to go from there? His journey didn't feel complete, so he sought a coach. Neil didn't have a specific objective in mind other than a sense of his own unfinished journey as a drummer. To the world, and for that matter his band, Neil was at the top of his game, but he sought legendary jazz drummer Freddie Grubber, deciding to, quote, work with a teacher and see what might transpire. Neil traveled to see Freddie in New York, sitting down and playing with him. After about a minute, Freddie gave Neil a set of exercises and what Neil described as, quote, a whole new approach to the drums, physically, that really demanded that I start all over again. Imagine being recognized as one of the greatest drummers of all time, and the advice from your coach requires you to start over from the beginning and relearn the drums? Talk about candid feedback. Neil went back to practicing every day in his basement. He even changed how he held the drumsticks as he followed his mentor's advice and switched to the traditional grip, something he had 30 years of muscle memory around not doing. When it was time to come together and record new music, Neil told the band he needed more time to practice. He took an additional 6 months before he felt ready to return to the studio. Neil reported he was energized by Freddie's enthusiasm and even reached back to the Greek origins of the word meaning, infected by God. Neil is one of those artists. He's actually the primary lyricist for the band, who chooses his words carefully. That sense of godlike inspiration and concern is exactly how he viewed his mentor and coach, candid and caring. Neil found exactly the mentor he could trust with the next leg of his journey. He discovered a new objective along the ever-twisting road that led to his ultimate destination, and it took a mentor for him to learn to navigate it further. Neil recorded 7 more albums before his untimely death in 2020. In 2013, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with his 2 bandmates and lifelong friends. Not only did Neil Peart leave a legacy of music, but his courage to find a mentor and reinvent himself stands as an example of what can happen when you have the courage to seek out a mentor, even when the world says you don't need to.